Hi lovelies, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here and you don't already know, my name is Gabrielle, and today I have with me my beautiful mother because we are continuing with the wedding makeup series today, and we are going to be doing Mother of the Bride makeup. So if you end up liking this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button down below, and also don't forget to hit the bell so you can get a notification every time I upload. I upload every Wednesday. And we're just going to get right into it. So if you want to know how I'm doing this, please keep watching. To start off this look, I'm going to use primer. I'm actually going to use 2 primers today, and this is just going to ensure that the face is nice and smooth for the makeup that we're going to apply later. So to start off, I'm using the Makeup Forever Hydrating Primer, and this is just going to ensure that the skin is very hydrated and smooth and plump in preparation for the foundation that we're going to use later on. You know, as we get older, skin can lose a little bit of hydration, and we just want to put a little bit back into the skin to make sure everything looks smooth and beautiful when we apply more makeup later. The next primer I'm going to be using is the Maybelline Baby Skin Primer, and this is more of a pore filling primer, and I'm going to use this in very targeted areas of the face. I'm going to start off using this on the nose and then either side of the nose at the tops of the cheeks. This is where pores usually happen, and I'm also going to use a little bit of this at the center of the forehead because people tend to get a little bit oily later in the day there, and this is going to help prevent those oils from breaking through. Next, moving on to foundation, I'm going to be using the Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation. This is very popular. This is in the shade Y455, and this foundation is just so beautiful. It has amazing coverage, yet looks so skin-like, and it's also very, very lightweight, so you won't feel this on the skin, which is why it's so beautiful. And I'm going to blend this out using an IT Cosmetics blurring foundation brush, and this is going to ensure that this blends very seamlessly into the skin. I'm also going to blend a little bit of this foundation down the neck to make sure that the face and the neck match beautifully, and then I'm going to dab it with my Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge to make sure it's all blended. Next, I'm going to take a little bit of LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Fawn on any blemishes or discoloration or pimples or any of those things that might be on the skin. We used a very little amount of foundation, so I'm using the concealer to conceal any of those spots that might peek through, just to ensure that the skin looks flawless yet natural. And I'm going to blend that in with that damp beauty sponge to blend it into the foundation. Just very lightly dab that into the skin. Now moving on to brows, I'm going to brush my mother's brows, make sure that they lay right where I want them before I apply any brow products. And for brow products, I'm going to be using the NYX Eyebrow Gel in the shade Chocolate. And I'm going to do very, very light feathery strokes in the brow, focusing most of the product on the tail end of the brow. This is where you want the darkest part of your brow to be, and as I move forward to the front part of the brow, I'm going to lighten the pressure a little bit and flick my brush up to create a little bit more of hair strokes instead of just drawing brows on. And then I'm going to use my NYX Microbrow to add a little bit of more hair strokes throughout the brow to make them look a little more natural. And then I'm going to use that same concealer that we used on the face on a small concealer brush at the tail end of the brow to clean up the brows a little bit. And those are the finished brows. Moving on to the eyes, I'm using the Black Radiance eyeshadow primer from the base of her lash line to the brow bone to prep the eyes for eyeshadow, and I'm going to set the eye primer with a little bit of translucent powder. Any translucent powder will do. We really just want to set that to make sure that there is no skipping when we apply eyeshadow later. And for eyeshadow, I'm going to be using my Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, starting with that shade right there called Milk Chocolate, and we're going to put that in the transition portion of the eye. This is the part of the eye that's right above the crease and right below the brow bone. We're going to blend that in using a fluffy eyeshadow brush. Next, we're going to use that deep brown shade called Semi-Sweet, and we're going to use a denser eyeshadow brush to pack that on the outer portion of the eye in more of a C shape, and we're going to also blend that a little bit into the crease. This shade is going to add some depth and definition to the eye. We're going to use that same fluffy blending brush to blend that dark brown out, making sure everything is nice and smooth. And that's what that looks like. Next, we're going to move on to the lid color. I am using the color right next to that Semi-Sweet shade. It is a champagne color called Marzipan. I am so sorry I didn't get the chance to film a picture of this color, but it's just a beautiful, beautiful champagne color that can go with any color that you may be wearing for the wedding day. It is a very beautiful, neutral shade that is gorgeous. And we're going to blend that out one more time to make sure the eyeshadow is nice and seamless. And then we're done with the eyeshadow. Next, we're going to move on to eyeliner, and we're using a very basic black eyeliner, starting in the inner corner, making a really thin line and getting thicker as we move out to the outer corner. And it really doesn't have to be perfect because we're just going to end up smoking this eyeliner out anyway. And that's what we're going to do next. We are going to grab an angled detail brush, and we're going to smoke out that black liner, make sure it's a little smudgy and really soft and beautiful. Then we're going to take that deep brown in the Too Faced palette called Triple Fudge, and we're going to take that at the very tail end of the eyebrow, and we're going to flick it up into the dark brown shadow and the outer corner to make it really soft in the outer corner. Next, moving on to eyeliner, we're going to take that waterproof gel eyeliner from L'Oreal, and we're going to take that into the waterline, which is the portion of skin right under the eyelashes. Now we're going to highlight and conceal under the eye. I'm using the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Pure Beige, and I'm going to take that on a pointed foundation brush. I'm going to take that on the inner corner of the eye and blend that down the side of the nose. And I'm also going to take a little bit starting at the outer edge of the eye and blend it up to the temple. And what this does, it adds a highlight and it really lifts the eye and gives the face a little bit of an instant facelift. And I'm going to connect those two portions. I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye. I'm also going to add a little bit of highlight on the top of the lip and in the center of the face to continue adding dimension back into the face. And I'm going to blend that out using my damp beauty sponge. Next, I'm going to set that concealer using the Cover FX setting powder on a very small detailed brush under the eye, just to target there and make sure there is no creasing under that eye. And I'm going to set the rest of the face using a large fluffy powder brush, and this powder is just so beautiful because it is waterproof, which is perfect for a wedding in case there's any sweating or crying or anything like that. Your makeup will stay put when you use this powder. Now I'm going to contour and bronze the skin using my Maybelline Fit Me powder in the shade Mocha, and I'm going to take that from the outer edge of the face to the center of the cheek, a very, very light line. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of the face. and also take that up the temples and around the perimeter of the forehead. This is really just going to add some more dimension, depth, and warmth back into the skin. I'm also going to take that on either side of the nose and blend that out using a stippling brush to make sure it blends seamlessly into the foundation and make sure there's no harsh lines. And that's what that looks like. Next, I'm moving on to blush. I'm going to use the Bare Minerals blush in the shade Dusk, which is just a really pretty natural pink color. I'm going to start at the apples of the cheeks and blend that upwards and into the contour, making sure everything's blended. Next, to finish off the eyes, I'm going to use that same gel eyeliner that we used earlier, and I'm going to blend that on the lower lash line. And using that same dark brown eyeshadow that we used on the eyeliner earlier, we're going to use that on the bottom eyeliner and smoke out that black liner to soften it and add a little bit more dimension to the eyes. And that's what that looks like. Beautiful eyes. Next, I'm having Mom pop on some mascara. I suggest waterproof mascara in case there's a little bit of emotion that goes on before I add lashes, and I'm using the Ardell Trio lashes. These are so perfect and beautiful no matter who you are. It's just so simple to apply. I'm applying these with some tweezers and my Duo adhesive in the shade Dark Tone because it blends very nicely into the eyeliner. And these are just going to make sure the eyelashes look very full and fluffy. Next, to highlight the skin, I'm using my Sephora Baked Luminizer in the shade Light Beam just to add a little more luminosity to the skin. And I'm going to take that on the high points of the face, on the tops of the cheekbones, on the brow bones, the temple, and the Cupid's bow. Moving on to lips, I'm going to line my mother's lips with the NYX lip liner in the shade Brown. Just going to blend that all around her lips, and then I'm going to use a lip brush to blend out that lip liner just to ensure that the lipstick blends beautifully into the lip liner and there's no harsh lines. And for the lipstick, I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild lipstick in the shade Bare It All, which is just a beautiful peachy nude that is just so gorgeous. It's a very natural lip color that blends beautifully into that brown lip liner. And to set all this beautiful work, I'm going to use the Scandinavian makeup setting spray, and this is just going to ensure that your makeup will last all day. Make sure it lasts for as long as it possibly can, and make sure that everything looks as skin-like as possible after all of those powders that we apply to the skin. And I'm going to dab that in using the sponge to make sure it blends seamlessly. That's the finished Mother of the Bride makeup look. If you have any questions, leave me a comment, and all the products that I use will be listed in the description bar down below.
Oh wow. Gabby, that looks nice.
You do look good. Yes. 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 Yes.
Good. I look good.
Alright guys, so that's it. That's all I have for you. If you did like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button down below. And don't forget to hit the bell so you can get a notification every time I upload. I upload every Wednesday. Yeah, until next Wednesday. Bye guys. Bye.